Okay, so we have onshore wind at the moment blowing, I would say, no more than 10 knots, probably more like 8 knots. So it's a nice little wind chop, no real swell, but we will encounter boat waves at times. Right now, we're just cruising along at a super slow and efficient speed. So I'm at 1,050 RPM, seeing 6 knots. And my fuel consumption is 3.5 litres per motor. We're running the twin Volvo 320 horsepower through the stern drive, but remember it's also an option to get it on the V-drive shaft, and you can get bigger horsepowers should you choose. So through this test, we will see what the 320 horsepower performs like. I'll run through the fuel numbers. Please enjoy these beautiful views, because this is boating in the south of France, guys. It's really nice. I absolutely love coming here, and we've saved the best for last. We're gonna do some maneuvering. We'll do some close quarters maneuvering at possibly one of the nicest secret spots that you've ever seen. I've never been there. I bet most of you have not either. So right now, just doing 7 knots. I got a few little waves coming on my port beam, so I will get on the plane relatively soon. I just want to sight a white buoy indicating rocks up ahead before I accelerate. I'm on 1,270 RPM, not really making much in the way of offensive wash. There's the white buoy that I wanted to watch out for. I'll just do a little adjustment there because that's indicating a rock below the surface. And fuel consumption, under 6 litres a motor, so super efficient. Any of you sailors who I know now, because you've been talking to me in the comments, are attracted to this brand, you will appreciate this sort of consumption. But for the rest of you, she's still a fast boat. Just checking around for traffic, all good. Viz all around is nice, by the way. So if you want to drive this boat in a busy waterway, I'm thinking Sydney Harbour, Miami, with lots of boat traffic, I don't see any dramas for that at the moment. But let's just get the boat up and moving. I have a new Humphrey touchpad digital display. This is my first time with this display, and so that's operating the interceptors. I have it set on auto, and I've also got trimmed leg trim available via the throttle, obviously. But let's just get the boat moving. 2,800 RPM and climbing, going into a little bit more wind chop than what we had during the drone shoot. And check out the beautiful house. I actually pissed that bloke off yesterday flying my drone, maybe a little bit too close to his house. So I apologize if you're watching, because wasn't trying to wake you up. It was early in the day. Okay, 2,870 RPM is giving me a speed return into the wind of 21.3 knots SOG. I'm seeing 41 litres a side and comfortable. If I want to operate my windscreen wipers, my 2 buttons are here at the moment. It's not necessary. And I did note, just pay attention through the drone footage, guys. You will see the design of the hull. There's a nice little chine that's sending a lot of the wash out to the side. It's about maybe a foot, half a foot above the waterline. I did inspect it closely with the drone, and it's quite thick, which is great. Okay, let's just adjust our course a little bit, increase our speed somewhat. 2,990 RPM. Just letting the auto trim do its thing there. Comfortable. Next thing worth noting, this helm chair, it's incredibly comfortable. It's really, really relaxing. So if you want to do a bit of a long trip, like I was last year on another boat to Mallorca, just going through some boat wash there, you might be eating up some hours. You might be doing legs of, say, 5+ hours, when having a super comfortable helm chair is going to bring you a lot of joy, put it that way. And this one, we can actually adjust the backrest. So if I wanted to set the boat on autopilot, and you can adjust these armrests as well and just enjoy the ride, you totally can on this boat. But I recommend, if you are coming to the boat show to check out this 390, just have a seat, because it's very comfortable. So for noise levels, I had all the doors closed up until now, so I'll just have this one open for now, and a bit later I'm going to open those rear doors and you guys can have a listen. Going through a couple little nice boat chops. Yeah, let's open that back door. You guys can have a listen to the noise.
I've got clear on my navigation, clear on all the boat traffic, and I'm going to increase that speed a little bit. And what we will do in a second, we'll start heading straight into these waves. But so far, the vibes that I'm getting, so I've driven the smaller Marexes, which are fantastic, great little boats. I would be happy to own one myself. But you do notice when you increase the water line on any vessel, it's fair to say, with extra water line length, the boat just skips across the waves a little bit more gracefully, and your life becomes a lot more comfortable when you're dealing with wind chop or boat waves, which we are going to do right now. So, got boat wash and some waves. I'm just going to drive into this for a bit, and I'll have to bear away in a second because there's a young bloke on a sailing boat who I don't want to interfere with. I'm doing that, consuming 46 litres. Now we'll start to do some S-turns at 23 knots. We will do a full speed run downwind, but I just want to, I saw a lot of journalists this week here in Cairn, and some of them had the tendency just to want to drive the boats full speed or no speed. I just didn't really understand that, because like, if you have a wife or kids or like a girlfriend and you actually want them to come boating with you, which I suspect is the purpose, don't drive like that. You'll scare the hell out of everyone. So just drive normally. So that's what I'm doing. 3,080 RPM, 23 knots, 47 litres. Now I'm clear to bear away, comfortable, skipping across the waves. I actually haven't taken any water, any considerable water over the bow, and I'm right now naturally, okay, I would go for the optional flip up footrest just here. That's something I would go for, but you do you. And you do have this nice little button here if you want to create more room, and I've already pressed this button to bring the helm closer to me. But this is a boat that I would cruise the Mediterranean on. Like, I'm quite comfortable right now, but let's increase that speed. Visibility's good. I would have more in a left-hand turn if I open that door. I'm going to cut out that wind and close this door. Comfy. You know, even though this is 39, I'm getting a lot of the benefits of what you could argue a bigger boat would give you. I'm not too busy at the helm. I'm able to navigate, see what's going on around me. I've got really good visibility all the way around. This pillar is not affecting my line of sight. And let's increase that speed up to wide open. I'm going to go behind this beautiful sailing yacht because he doesn't have a lot of maneuverability. So I actually have the waves somewhat on my beam, 3,300 RPM, seeing 56 litres consumption. Not at the best angle. I may just hold this for a second until I have an opportunity to bear away behind this sailing yacht, but I'm seeing a speed return of 27 knots, and I would say that's probably your fast cruise. And at a 55, 52 litre per motor consumption, to get that speed return, you're really eating up some miles, considering the total fuel consumption, fuel tank is what I meant to say on this boat. Now I've got an opportunity to go behind this boat, clear, and now I'm going to increase. The trim's still on auto. I don't see the point in doing lots and lots of manual trim on a boat like this. It's not about that. It's about just going to places comfortably and relaxing with your family. I hope you can see that through the camera. That is an absolutely beautiful boat just on our port side. That's one of the things I love about this part of the world. Okay, full speed, 3,560 RPM and climbing. Do a little trim up on the drives. Let's just see what we get. 3,600 RPM. I'm seeing 30 knots, a couple of waves. I don't need to bash the boat through the waves. 31 knots is what we saw there, which for a family boat is plenty fast. You don't need to, and nor should you be driving around at full speed all the time. Isn't that easy? Just crack that if you just want to have a little bit of air, and that handle doesn't interfere with the throttle. Going places at 24 knots to 23 knots is perfectly acceptable for a family boat. But let's now take this opportunity to come off the plane and we'll talk about some slow speed operations. Let's continue. Look at me. I'm just sort of, I've got my elbow on the armrest. I'm just sort of playing with the wheel as I see fit. I'm not needing to do too much adjustment. Yes, the feeling's going to be different if you opt for the V-drive shafts. So you might need a little bit extra horsepower because a shaft drive, the propeller location is not going to be as efficient as a stern drive. But those are minor things you can talk through with your dealer. Just dissipating that speed there coming off the plane. She comes off the plane about 15 knots, settles her bum at 11 or 10, and the fuel flow's dropping through 23 litres a side there at 10 knots, but you still drag a bit of a stern wave. So that, if you are in a social environment, is not a suitable speed for a vessel like this. So you really want to dial the speed off and dissipate your waves appropriately. But if we come down to 1580 RPM, I can see 9 litres and I still have a bit of a stern wave at a speed return of 8.3 knots. So what we're going to do, well, actually, just as an exercise, we'll come right off. And I actually tell, when I used to train my customers how to drive boats, I would tell them to do this whenever they were changing environments. So if you're going from a open water situation where you're going fast and you're entering a mooring field or you're approaching the marina, I like to actually reset my brain. So if I'm in fast mode, buzzing around at 24 knots to 27 knots, I'm focusing my situational awareness out and ahead of me, because I don't want to get surprised by someone crossing my bow at high speed and have to do an emergency maneuver to get out of their way. But when you enter a marina, all of a sudden you should be really focusing on slowing down. So if you bring the boat completely out of gear and almost reset your mind and go, right, I'm going from fast mode into slow mode now, not only does it allow you to think about things like, okay, do I need the bow thruster on? Should I now be focusing my situational awareness from out far to close in, to also, should I open this door? Should I open that door? Should I tell my mates to sit down and get out of my way? Like, just all that sort of, well, you actually don't need to on this boat because you can just go out this door and sort that out. But it's a good, sensible way of controlling your thinking to control the boat in the best possible manner. However, what I didn't point out, remember how I mentioned the fuel flow before was something like 9 litres? When you come off and then re-engage, at idle forward, 700 RPM, still getting 4 knots, I got 1.5 litres per motor. So if I just nudge that up a tiny bit, for those of you who are sailors, you will appreciate this. 2.7 litres at 5 knots, no wash whatsoever, super social, safe speed to be approaching if you've got swimmers in the water, which you do get here in the south of France. And then if you just nudge that up a tiny bit more, and engine noise levels super low. To be fair, right the way through the rev range, you could still, I'm not finding the need to raise my voice and talk to people here, but hopefully that came up on the microphone. 3.5 litres. 3.5 litres at 6 knots. You know, so that's a total of 7 litres to get a sailing yacht speed return on this boat, which I'm sure many of you who get attracted to this will find appealing. But I do believe some of you guys are going to be coming out of vessels like the Moody deck saloon, and I already know one of you has come out of a Princess V series. So in the next part of the video, we're going to do some close quarters manoeuvring so you can see how different this is to your past boat, which I now know was a much bigger one. See you in the next bit. Okay, so I've come alongside a fended dock, and this door is open, back door is open, but we'll just side slip the boat into
this dock and just do a touch and go, and then we'll actually leave the dock using the joystick, because this one has got the stern drives. If you had the shaft drives, you're obviously going to have to back that up with transverse thrust and thrusters. Instead, what I'm going to do is flip up the armrests, because that gives you a bit easier access port and starboard, so your life will be a little bit smoother. So what I can now do, just to demonstrate a side slip, I've just done wheel down to port, and then I can actually use my wheel hand and put it on the thruster, and just by clicking port engine in reverse, small movements, I can actually side slip the boat right into the marina here. And then if I'm going too far aft, I can actually just reverse the direction of travel and click in forward, and that will keep me going towards the dock like so. And if you need to stop or slow down, just use the thruster and the engine in the other direction. So, but this is just a nice little touch on the fenders here, and I can slow my forward movement. 3, 2, 1. So that now I know I've got plenty of time. I'm on the fenders now. I could actually leave with this little opening gate here, and I've even got enough time to walk out and down the back of the boat. But using the joystick is another option for us. So let's just straighten the boat up and checking for traffic. Cool, really easy. And what we'll do is actually just side slip away from the dock, and then we'll just practice picking some friends up by reversing into the dock, because I want to point out something that I discovered towards the end of the test drive when Espen actually went for a swim. And I realized that's going to be really useful when you're picking up mates to get fish and chips. So let's just spin the boat around. What they've conveniently done in this opening back gate here is put a window. So if you know those arguments that you often have with your partner trying to dial in the distance available between the dock and the back of the boat, it's not really a problem anymore, because you just look through that window. It's right there. So I can actually see quite clearly how much distance I have, and I can just walk the thing in ever so slightly, and I've got full situational awareness right here. And then I can even back it up, as we have on this boat, with a camera that looks over the stern. So if you don't want to spin your neck, you don't have to. If you don't have the camera, you just look through there. It's all very logical and very easy. So if you are doing that social pickup on the transom, which is generally the quickest way to disembark people if they just need to go and get a coffee, it's that easy. So that's quite nice. Now let's just try the transverse thrust. That's one engine in forward and one engine in reverse. Piece of cake. I was going to say something else. Piece of cake. We'll try to keep it YouTube friendly. Yeah, so that's telling me right now that there's enough spacing in between the motors to allow the boat to spin in only idle revs. So if I gave it some more power, it's going to spin faster. But typically, you don't really need to do that, just utilizing some side thrust now to get us closer to the marina. So, a couple of takeaways. Really, really easy to see everything. That window is fantastic. These big windows and this side door with these flip-up side rests mean that most, if not all, of the close quarters maneuvering on this particular boat, in my personal opinion, can be done from a seated position. So unless you have a really dodgy neck, you can just kind of do everything sitting down and then leave the helm when required to go and secure the lines to the cleats. It's not particularly difficult whatsoever. So from here, we're going to put the boat somewhere and have a look at the anchoring gear and explain to you what we have learned. Okay guys, I'm just playing with the anchor in the marina here to see if it works. You power on and then double touch to unlock the quick screen, and then up, down, so boom, boom, down, there you go. And we also have a remote control just here to operate it. So I might have to play with that to turn it on, but I'm just going to go forward and pass the camera to Julia so you guys can see what's going on. But see those gas struts just there? That's what pushes out the bow roller, and then the pressure of the chain coming up the windlass just here is what pulls it back in. But also pay attention to the fall of the anchor. See how we've got a nice vertical drop from here, the windlass, down to the anchor chain at the bottom. What that means is less possibility for the anchor to bunch up and jam. So that's a good thing when you have that distance from there to there. But I'm just going to pass. Oh, also, as I pointed out before, this is for accessing the bow in Scandinavia if you're doing a boarding on and off the bow. But you don't need this to be deployed, nor this to operate the anchor. It operates up and down independently of these two, so that's not a concern if you're thinking about it. Now I'm just going to raise the anchor, so just have a look. I'll let you guys see it. And I've got full, obviously I can do this with the remote control, but I'm just being lazy. I've got full visibility on. Okay, double tap, unlocked, and up. So I can see coming up 3, 2, 1, and boom, boom, secure. That's it. Good system. Pretty no nonsense. I like it. Okie dokie. For any of you who were wondering, we are at Port Dealer Ragu, which is apparently pronounced differently. My friends are making fun of me for that. But as I said to them, if it's pronounced differently, well then they should spell it differently. Sorry to all the French people, I'm just making fun of you. How do we assess the performance of this boat? Where does it sit? What are my thoughts, and what should you perhaps compare it with if you are in the market for a boat like this? It's a family cruiser every day of the week. It's a capable family cruiser. I wouldn't have any issues running up and down the coast on this boat, and it's an easy to operate family cruiser. Is it a speed machine, and should it be? Nah, like for probably most of you, these 320 horsepowers are going to be more than sufficient. You might need a little bit more horsepower if you're running shaft drives. I don't know whether it's necessary to spend the extra dollars to get the bigger motors, considering we're cruising around quite happily at 23 knots. I saw a fast cruise of 27 knots. I saw a top speed of 31 knots. Remembering, this is hull number 1. This is the prototype. They always get better from here, and I didn't really see too many things that I wasn't happy with. A couple of niggly things here and there, but nothing that upset you. So with those sorts of speeds, it's right in that mass market family boat expectations, put it that way. It's quite a predictable hull in and around the dock, slow speed, and it's quite a predictable hull at higher speeds going through the waves. It didn't do anything that would throw you off, so it kind of allows you to relax at the helm and focus on communicating with your mates, your family, navigating, or whatever you need to do. I love, love, love that helm chair and the whole helm station, actually, being able to manipulate the wheel and the throttle closer towards me, being able to sit in that comfortable helm chair, feeling feeling like you are on a 60-footer. That's the sort of comfort I'm used to experiencing on the big Rivieras, basically, and this is a lot smaller. The side opening door is fantastic. It's easy to use, so you can crack it and close it when you want that ventilation. That's all really, really great. This access is fantastic, and on both port and starboard, moving around. From a solo perspective, it's absolutely a solo operator. So with a little bit of experience, I think you could come to this boat as an intermediate boater, and you'll be, with the right training and the right time dedicated to improving your situational awareness, you will be fine on this boat. And if you're an experienced boater, well, you're fine. You don't need to go through that whole process. What would you compare this to? A few boats that could be in the same sphere, I guess. You got the Nimbus 365 Coupe. That's a well-known brand. They're in single or twins. from memory, a whole bunch of engine options. You could put that in a similar bucket to this. I saw the Ecuador 400. I haven't tested that one yet though, so I can't pass comment. The Sargo does a 36, kind of different style, but I did see a few boats of that brand running around the Scandinavian countries. So again, I can see there's probably some of you in that mindset. Jump in the comments if you agree. And you can also say something like perhaps the new Beneteau Swift Trawler 37. I did get on that boat at the boat show. Nowhere near the same build quality, fit and finish as this, so don't compare it as such. And it's also a single shaft instead of twins and the various engine options that we have here. But the mindset is of a similar one. So, you know, you may see some benefit in comparing the two. But yeah, I really do feel it's for those of you who are perhaps considering a downsize, coming out of sailing, or wanting to buy something that's pretty much the best quality and the max social and living spaces you can get for the size. If you're in that group of people, you definitely should invest the time and investigate this boat. It's going to be worth it. It's just packed full of so many good ideas that it's hard to turn this one down, to be fair. So, hope that was useful. I hope you do engage in the comments. Tell me what boat you have right now, or what boat you're comparing this with. And if I've forgotten something, I really do enjoy engaging in the comments and seeing what you guys are up to. I find it fascinating, and that's what this community is all about. If you want to talk to me directly, Connect is the place to do it. Link is down below in the description. Please like, please share, and please also subscribe, because it's your subscriptions that help open doors for me with factories. So keep doing it. I really, really appreciate all the support you're giving me. And thank you for saying g'day at all the recent boat shows, particularly here at Cannes. If you see me out and about at any of these shows, feel free to stop me and say g'day. I'm always happy for a chat. And if you want to take a photo, no worries. It's really, really fun. I'm getting a kick out of it. So please do say g'day. I'll pop up a competing boat on the screen right now. And remember, like I always say, use it as a tool to do your own homework. That's what this channel's for. Use it. See you guys. Love you lots. Bye.